Hello, welcome back to Millennial Teacher. My name is Jessica, and I wanted to give you top 5 things that I've learned doing this hybrid online and presential class. We started this last Monday, so I've only been doing it for 4 days now, but I've learned a lot of stuff doing it. So here we go. So my first piece of advice is to put students on your projector, on your Zoomers on your projector so that you can see them. My second piece of advice is to have your camera facing your students that are in the classroom, not just you. My third piece of advice is to use your phone to control Pear Deck so that you have that liberty and freedom to move around, and you give up your computer so that you can always just constantly have your Zoomers on your projector. My fourth piece of advice is to give students assignments through Google Classroom so that you can see exactly what they're doing when they're doing it and how they're doing it, so you can make sure you can fix it right away if they're not doing it properly. And then my fifth piece of advice is to try to break that barrier and let the students that are virtual talk to the kids in the class and vice versa. My first day, what I ended up doing was I have a Pear Deck and I was on Zoom and I shared my screen with my Zoomers so they could see it on the projector, so my kids in my class could see it on the projector, and that my students in class could see the little videos of the students that were on Zoom. However, when I did that, you couldn't see everyone on the Zoom. You could only see 4 videos at a time, 4 students at a time. And I felt like it was clunky. And since I couldn't see them all, we couldn't really interact. So what I started doing was just putting the students on my projector. So my Zoomers are all that's on the projector the whole time. And I still use Pear Deck, but I have my students that are in class also get on the Pear Deck. They don't get on Zoom, but they do get on the Pear Deck. And that's been working out much better for me. I have a camera that we use swivel, so we put our iPad on a tripod, and the tripod is on the swivel, or the swivel's on the tripod, so it kind of follows us. And I actually don't use the follow me function. It seemed kind of fidgety and it just didn't feel smooth. So I just kind of I pause that feature and I just have it facing the students that are in the class so that my students online can see them as well as me, not just following me and walking around. Especially since I'm not using my board right now. I did try to write something on my board, but the kids online couldn't see it at all. So I'm just staying away from that right now. So what I've been doing, since I have my students projecting on my projector and that's using my computer, I have my Pear Deck on my phone. I'm controlling my Pear Deck through my phone. But that enables me to be more free with where I can roam around. I can move around easier. And you can still, when you have the teacher dashboard open on your phone, you can still see the children's names, the students' names, what they've submitted, and who hasn't submitted yet. So you can still keep track of that, which I couldn't do on Monday because I had my screen projecting the Pear Deck itself. So I wasn't able to also show the students or look at the students' responses. I've also learned that you should put assignments on Google Classroom, even if you don't plan during the class, So give all of their activities that they're going to be doing outside of Pear Deck or outside of whatever platform you're using, to put them through Google Classroom. Make a template and add it on Google Classroom. So you don't even need to grade it. They don't need to submit it. But that way you can see what they're doing. So as soon as you make a template for them and it's there and you tell them work off of this template, then you have access to it as well. You're a co-owner at that point and you can see what they're doing while they're working. I made the mistake a couple times while we were virtual to just give them things and then I would lose them and I wasn't really sure if they were working or not. So then I decided to just do everything through Google Classroom so I can see it no matter what it is. I can also do that with Jamboard. With Jamboard, you can see everyone's Jamboard. I don't know why it's called that, but you can see what everyone's doing at all times, kind of thing. And you can also see if students are on different students' Jamboard, so that's fun. But that's just my number 4 advice, is to give them things that you can see that they're doing. Don't just send them off and hope that they're working. And then my 5th piece of advice here is to break the barrier. I've been able to, since I have my students projected, my Zoomers are on my projector, and then my students are in the class seeing them, they're able to talk back and forth. I know it's harder for my Zoom kids to see my students, especially since they've never met before and they're wearing masks, so it's hard for them to know who it is, but I'm able to say, okay, Johnny, call on someone that's in the classroom right now, and they'll call on someone and they will have a conversation or they'll talk, breaking the virtual presential barrier, if you will. So I've really enjoyed them being able to do that, and I think the kids at home especially appreciate that interaction with the students that are in the classroom. All right, well, those are my top 5 tips of things that I've learned this week doing the hybrid in classroom and online at the same time. And please let me know in the comments below what you've learned so far, and I hope that this was helpful. Thanks, see you later.